Hi, welcome back to Conversations with Kanyomozi. My name is Lisa Kanyomozi Rabwani, and we're doing 16 days of activism. Today's conversation, after talking about Stockholm Syndrome yesterday, is on the language that we use when reporting stories related to gender-based violence. Specifically, how we choose to tell these stories. We tell them either as the media or persons involved in retelling someone's story. We'll talk about what is a better format tomorrow, but let's start with things that we might want to think about. Number one, language is very important. As a writer, I know this, but also someone who reads, I know this. How we perceive, how our mindsets are, how we think of something, how we choose to change something is in relation to how it has been portrayed, how the language we've used has made an impact on the reader. If we continue to use language that belittles domestic violence and makes it look like some sort of minimal vice, that is how it will continue to be. If we then choose consciously as people who either write, report, share stories on gender-based violence to use a language that will help aid in changing the narrative, then we shall see change come through, right? So here are three things I'd like to talk about in particular for today's conversation on how to report stories with how to report stories in relation to gender-based violence better. Number one, focus on the offender. Unfortunately, in our media, specifically Ugandan media, a lot of the times people who have been sexually violated or domestically violated are often the first people you see when the story is being reported, either in pictures or how it's being told or the video. You will see people report how they have been abused, but nothing about the abuser. Again, I understand the laws around that and allegations and all of that, but can we try and shift the focus on the person who's committed the crime? Then violence is a one-way thing. It is not a two-way, right? So how are we reporting these stories in relation to the abuser? Like what they have done. It is not a social interaction. You can't say just a few slaps, right? Or but you see I know there was a story around August of a woman who was killed by her husband, and then people went on to report how she was cheating. So I don't know how cheating and murder can even be in the same sentence. Fair enough, it's not good to cheat on your partner, but it doesn't mean that you retaliate by killing them, right? Then finally, the victim's responses are not effects, but a form of their agency. How victims choose to respond to gender-based violence should not be reported in a way to seem that it is an effect of gender-based violence, but how their agency has then been minimalized or affected. Yeah. So we'll talk more about what is the correct way to report tomorrow. Thank you for watching Conversations with Kanyomozi. It is a 16 days of activism. Don't forget to comment, share, like, and subscribe.